Thank you for joining us at the ever-improving No Soundbites Allowed podcast. My name is Michael Vasquez. We thank you for joining us in this adventure of describing the politics that go on in our nation on a personal and local level as often as possible, giving you, the audience, more than just 30 seconds to understand what's going on in our nation. We look forward to joining you as we go. Just sit back, enjoy the ride. Please remember, if you like the episodes, like it, share it, let other people know, and if you can, please donate, even if it's $2, even if it's $5, because it all makes a difference. We thank you, and here we go. And hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Michael Voss, the Dragon of the Southern Tier, your host here at the No Soundbites Allowed podcast. I thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys make it all worthwhile. That's why we're here. And today, I want to say I have a very special episode. We're doing an interview today, and it's one of my favorite guests. I enjoyed speaking with him. Last time he was here, we got to have a wealth of information, and it was just, it didn't end. Literally, we just kept going and going because it was a great conversation. I think everyone will enjoy it as well. I want to introduce Mr. Larry Sharpe of the Libertarian Party, the former candidate for governor in 2018, and effective run in that race as well, I should add, in getting the Libertarian Party to become a officially recognized party in the state of New York, something that the party's been trying to do since the 1970s. Is that right?
That's correct. Thank you for having me in the Dragon's Den. I appreciate it. Yes, we've been trying to become a party since 1972, I believe, in New York State, and we finally did it this time. So yes, I'm very happy. We need 50,000 votes, and we got 100,000, so life is good.
That is very good, and I am glad to hear about that. I mean, that's one of the big things that we always want to look for, is having that conversation with the people who are involved in the changes that are happening here in New York State that are affecting everyone.
Yes, yes. And we saw, when we look at last night, the State of the State address by our current king. Yes, we gave the tyrant a mandate, and he took advantage of it. He is, jumping more and more on what we thought he was going to do. He's doing. He took no responsibility for any failures. He blamed local government for all failures, which is his way of validating more of a grab for centralized control, right? He said, education isn't working because we've been giving money to the poor districts, but the poor districts haven't been giving the money to the actual poor schools. See, I do the right thing. The local people don't. I need to be involved in this. The MTA would be great, but I'm not in charge of it. If only I was in charge, all of a sudden it would be great. Again, another power grab. It's power grab, power grab, power grab. He basically said, now we can get things done because Republicans aren't in the Senate anymore. See, it was all the Republicans' fault.
That infuriated me.
Yes, it's all the Republicans' fault.
Many people may have seen me when I was talking on Twitter, when I tweeted about this. The line that got me was, the time for talking is done. The time for doing is now. And I believe that was a direct quote of what he had said. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that is you're saying that you're not going to listen to any other voice, any other idea, anything that works for New York State, except for the far left extremist viewpoints. And that's the viewpoints that have led our economy for the last 8 going into 9 years.
No. It's all because the federal government. It's all the federal government's fault. He also blamed them. So it's the federal government's fault for everything.
The Nano Center, Buffalo Billions, drone testing site in up at Griffiths International Airport. We can go the I Love New York campaign, the New York Uprising, Startup New York. Let's go through the list of things that he directly put into New York State. We spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this. I don't even know how much of a percentage of the taxes that are charged to people in New York State on his ideas that have completely failed. There is no two ways about that. It's failed. And he's saying, I don't want to listen to anyone else.
No, if you noticed how he said it, though, and this is the thing, right? In business, I talk about whenever you're creating a project, you actually have 2 wins. The first thing is completion of the project. And the second thing is the positive impact on the business, right? Which sometimes when you create a project, it takes several months or weeks or years even to see the actual impact on the business, right?
Right.
My project is to hire 4 engineers. Awesome. I hire them. I won't see the success for another year. That's when I measure. I must measure both. What he did is he never measured impact. He simply said, completed. Look, completed. Look, completed. And he was accurate. That wasn't a lie.
No.
He said, it's completed. It's a complete boondoggle and a waste of money, but he doesn't bring that up. He only says, look, completed. But the thing that bothered me most wasn't that he mentioned all the dollars that he spent, is that he talks about it like it's his money.
Yeah.
He says, what I spent, I built, I did, my money, I did. And the sad part is the media jumps on board and goes, yeah, Cuomo doesn't want to pay for it. Maybe we should have de Blasio pay for it, right? The mayor of New York City.
It's not his money either.
It's not his money either, yes. Now look, if His Majesty wants to write a personal check to fix things,
then we got a different conversation.
I will shut up.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. Write a personal check. I'm good with that.
Yeah, and let it fail if it wants. If it fails, okay, you get the credit when it works. You get the credit when it fails, but it's yours.
That's correct.
And that has nothing to do with everyone else. That's a very different scenario in the world.
And the sad part is you find the media jump on board. And the example I'll give is the MTA, right? The MTA, clearly a downstate issue, right? And his idea is, well, let's do 50-50, right? I'll pay for half. De Blasio, New York City, will pay for the other half. Here's the problem. It's still all our money.
Yes.
And not just that. Look, I'm a New York City guy. I live in Queens.
I know.
So it helps me to fix the MTA. Thank you. But he's going to make you pay for it, Michael.
Yeah, here in upstate New York.
Yeah. Why are you paying for my subway? Thank you, by the way. But why?
Yeah,
you don't need to be doing this.
I haven't been home in the Bronx for 17 years.
Yes.
I don't want to pay for the MTA anymore.
Absolutely. And you shouldn't, right? Yeah. But the point is, it doesn't even feel like you are because they don't even bring up the taxpayer in the conversation.
No.
Because the money is assumed to be his already. The money is assumed to be de Blasio's already. There's no issue with this is taxpayer money and it's unfair on top of it, right? And I'll go one step further. Amazon.
Right.
Amazon's coming
$4
to
billion.
Yes. It's a giveaway coming to Long Island City. And to be fair, again, I want to say thank you because that's my next door neighbor.
Of course.
And I'm a business consultant, so I'm going to make money from it.
Yes.
So again, Michael, you're helping me again.
Which does nothing for me here in upstate.
That's correct. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
You were gonna help pay for Amazon to show up, which is going to crush most small businesses there.
Yes.
It's going to destroy our infrastructure there because we don't know how to get 25,000 people into the area.
One small area like that in New York?
Impossible. No. Yeah, so that's going to be broken. And when de Blasio was asked, or the mayor of New York was asked, how are you going to deal with the MTA and fixing the infrastructure there? He goes, well, we'll tax the local businesses.
Well, that doesn't work.
Yes.
It doesn't
but he
work.
literally
That's
said
the
that.
worst answer.
Yes. So but he didn't even think, again, the logical step, if you didn't give them the $3 to $4 billion, maybe you could have used that.
That would have made it. There's the money for fixing it all right there.
Exactly.
So I understand completely that they're just out of their minds with this. But it as much as we can talk about downstate, and that is a factor in this,
sure,
and it's very important. I also want to address the upstate issues that were there that came out of that state of the state. Now we're talking about something a little bit different. I know we've spoken about this before. Let me jump to the red flag legislation.
Sure, absolutely.
And for people who are not familiar, this is part of the gun control efforts made by Governor Cuomo, where he's talking about, to sum it up very simply. Actually, you were just talking about it today.
Yes.
I mean, you sum it up.
The idea of the red flag law is someone sees something they're worried about. They then go to a judge and have that judge come by and take that kid's parents' firearms. The example in this case is teachers. Right. So a teacher has a kid, say, for example, a 10-year-old boy who happens to like a cool TV show on NBC where there's an FBI detective who goes against bad guys.
Right.
Kid likes the show. He starts drawing his hero on a piece of paper. Well, his hero's an FBI agent. He has a gun.
Right.
So he draws the gun. Teacher goes, ooh, he's drawing guns.
Bad sign.
Bad sign. That's a red flag. I'm doing air quotes.
Right.
That's a red flag, right? So then I'm a teacher and I go to a judge, say, Judge, look, I'm worried. Here's the problem now. The judge doesn't know education. The judge doesn't know kids. The judge doesn't know what this is.
Right.
So the judge is probably going to support the teacher and go, okay, great. Now we're going to go and they're going to go in that kid's family and we're going to take his dad or his mom's firearms. Here's the worst part. No due process.
None whatsoever.
And what if he wants to resist?
Well, that's another problem.
He's either going to the morgue, the hospital, or jail. Bad, bad, bad. No matter what, bad. But here it gets even worse.
Yeah,
you might say, well, wait a minute. Would that teacher ever do that? Well, the answer I get often is, but Larry, we want these laws because we want teachers to tell on these kids. Mm-hmm. I agree. But here's the issue. If a kid's drawing his action star, why would that compel a teacher to tell on him? Because if it's a law, the teacher is actually liable if the kid does something wrong. If that kid makes an error or does something bad or something violent, that teacher's either socially, criminally, or civilly liable now for that.
Right.
So they're going to err on the side of report everything. How do we know this? It's already happening with the SAFE Act in our medical community.
Right.
Our medical community reports everything.
Because they have to, otherwise they could potentially be sued for it.
That's correct. So teachers will report everything. And therefore, so will the judges.
Mm-hmm.
They'll act. So they will do it every single time. So there won't be any due process. There won't be any thought process. People just studying their guns taken away. That's going to happen. Now here comes the next piece. And this is a piece that you're the one who actually let me know this, right? I didn't really understand how this worked until you told me. And again, once you told me, I got it. And now I tell people, and now they get it. But they didn't make it the leap either. And you made a wonderful leap. And it's a perfect leap in that, okay, now that I go to someone's home and take their firearms, well, because there's a problem child, I'm air quoting again, a problem child in a household, I go, problem child in a household. And dad has firearms. And he still wants firearms. That may be an unsafe household. Let's take the kid.
And that's the problem there.
And now we take the kid. So it goes from taking firearms to taking children. And the worst about taking children piece is there is money in it for the state in taking children.
Every time.
Yes.
Federal
so there is
funding.
Bingo. So there is a financial incentive to take the child. Mm-hmm. Why in the world would I give our state, which has a financial incentive to take a child, another reason to take a child?
There should be none.
Yes.
There should be none. And to answer one of the things I know that a lot of people ask, well, how bad could this be? This shouldn't be that bad. In Rochester, we got an example of this on the 14th. A lot of people didn't see this. Rochester, New York, there was a gentleman, 61 years of age. Some neighbor saw a shotgun in his residence. Mm-hmm. And because of that, at 7 a.m., actually 6:50 a.m., a SWAT team showed up at his door to try and take that firearm. He then eventually, after 24 hours, got charged with menacing because someone saw the shotgun. So people who don't know what menacing in the second degree in New York means, basically, if I have a firearm and I point it at you, that's threatening you, your fear of your life, I can get arrested. Well, essentially, this person, it seems, in Rochester, saw this firearm and became terrified. Mind you, they weren't in the house. He wasn't pointing it at anyone. They saw the firearm somehow into this guy's house, called the SWAT team. Mm-hmm. The SWAT team came in to take this firearm. The guy has not committed a crime, didn't point it at anyone, according to every news report that's been out there so far. And to justify it, they say, well, she was terrified of the gun. Who cares?
Yeah.
Don't look at a movie.
Because she was afraid, now you must pay.
Now he's guilty.
That's
because
correct.
She's afraid.
Yes, correct.
And God forbid she looks at Netflix or goes out to see Avengers or anything else. I mean, that's insane.
We'll just shut them all down.
But here's the other problem with it. Something that a lot of people also don't know. This exact same scenario happened, well, virtually exactly the same, happened in Maryland.
I didn't hear this.
Back in October of 2018. And they showed up again. But Maryland has the red flag laws. They were coming to take his firearms. He never committed a crime. They came in at 5 in the morning. Mm-hmm. He thought someone was breaking into his house, which most of us would think at 5 in the morning. I'm not thinking a SWAT team's going to come to my door. They're trying to break down the door. I'm going to come with my gun. I'm going to protect myself as anyone would. Well, that resulted in a firefight and that man was killed.
Yep.
Because of the red flag.
I did hear about that. I remember. Yes, now, thank you. You reminded me of it. Yes.
So this is how bad it gets when you don't think, well, what happens next? Mm-hmm. And so I assume now I know we both have spoken individually about this, but this is what we're looking at, the single party of New York.
And you hit it perfectly because Cuomo literally last night talked about how proud he was of this, how we must do the next thing is the red flag laws. It's the right answer. It's why we're great. Right afterwards, the Republicans had a rebuttal.
Yes.
Mark Molinaro did a rebuttal. Mm-hmm. He said nothing about the Second Amendment at all.
Which was a mistake.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
Didn't talk about red flag laws. He talked about, 50 years ago, Republicans were cool. That was his entire response. He talked about Dewey and Roosevelt and whoever he talked about. I forgot what he talked about. But 50 years ago, Republicans were cool. That was his entire pitch last night. There is no opposition. The only opposition to Cuomo right now is Libertarian Party and the guy you're talking to right now. That's why I'm not stopping. That's why I'm talking about this. That's why I'm doing events here in Binghamton. I'm doing in Bath, Rochester, Buffalo, Fredonia. All this week, I am out there talking about this and trying to stop and trying to combat this horrible idea that what he's doing is now right.
Well, I don't think it's right. I do need to mention, because I am a Republican, I'm a conservative Republican, I would say the Republican Party has more efforts. We're doing poorly at it, and we're not making the right argument, the right answer out there. I like to think I am, but I understand your bias.
Let me touch the conservative piece here. You brought up conservative Republican. Look, the Conservative Party in this state is terrible. And when I say that, I mean this, the leadership is. Why? The leadership of the Conservative Party had a conservative, G. Francisco. They did not pick him. They did not run him.
No.
They didn't even pressure the Republican Party for a primary to see if they could even push the Republican Party further right. Nothing. They completely and absolutely just laid down and took two downstate liberals on their line. And then the response to conservative Republicans, what their response was, we'll teach them, we'll vote for them on the conservative line. Wow, is that backward? That is so wrong. I just want to vomit when I think about that. What you just did for you conservatives in this state who voted for Molinaro on the conservative line, what you did was reinforce bad behavior. You told the conservatives, do it again, I'll still vote for you.
I understand
Nothing but a bad idea. Conservatives don't have a party in this state except for the Libertarian Party.
And again, this is one of the things we can keep going on this one.
I'm happy to keep going on this one.
I know, for hours. And we have. And for people who don't know, I've spoken with Larry, 5, 6, 7 times now over the last 2-3 years, both on interviews like this and personally and privately. And we often can go for hours in our conversations, but talking about the issues that are affecting everyone. So, and that's why I love it. And we don't always agree.
Sure.
But at the same time, we also agree on a lot of the key issues.
Yes. And
I think that's one of the things that with Governor Cuomo yesterday was invalidating, is this conversation that we all want to see it better, and we have ideas, and you have ideas, I have to, like on the red flag. We're talking, I saw something that very few people have ever even mentioned or hinted at. And here is, I'm talking about it. You suddenly go, well, Mike, I didn't know that. That's something I had never considered. Yep. Suddenly now we have a consensus. Okay.
And now I'm talking about it.
Right. And now, now maybe if we can get Governor Cuomo to actually have a conversation with us about this or many other things, maybe we go, or any of the state senators that put this in, or the state assembly members who've put it in, and many of them I've already talked to, and say, hey, we got to fix this. Right. If we must have this, which I disagree with, but if we must have this, at the very least, let's consider what the ramifications are. And that's the problem with where Governor Cuomo's going. But I want to stick on the Second Amendment for a second before we go further. You heard about the social media password bill by State Senator Parker?
Yes.
Okay. So I can tell from the reaction you've heard about it.
Come on. I'm a libertarian. You know I'm going to hate that. I mean, you just know I'm going to hate that.
I don't know anyone who did. Matter of fact, I know State Senator Fred Akshar from the 52nd District. Sure. He actually, when I spoke to him about it, he couldn't believe it. I spoke to him like a day after it actually. I was one of the people who helped break the news on this, actually. From searches, I can see I was one of the first news media to mention this. And when I brought it up to him immediately, he put out a survey. I don't know if you saw it. The survey got over 6,000 results from not just in his district here in upstate, but across the state. It got responses. And overall, we were looking at about 80%, 81% of every respondent said they hated, were totally against the social media password bill. There was about 20% overall statewide that were for it. And just to do a quick wrap up for those who don't know what this is, State Senator Kevin Parker, in the middle of the night, 2 weeks after the 2018 election, when no one was talking about politics and no one wanted to hear about politics, went in the middle of the night and dropped in a bill that said that for anyone to have a firearm, a permit, they would need to give the government the passwords to their social media, all of them, so that the government can go through for 3 years reading all of their text, their personal messages, Instagram, Facebook, and a year of Google searches, so they can determine if the person is good enough to have a firearm. And by the way, 1 in 5 people in New York State own a firearm. And in giving the government your personal, private information, they can then search through any and every conversation you've ever had, find any and any crime they want, and then persecute people who sent you a message that they don't like and attack that person. And we have no idea who would actually have possession of this, who's going to actually do this, and whether or not it would be public records that would then be able to be used by anyone and everyone in the world.
It just makes sure that when they target you, they can put you in jail.
Yeah.
That's it. Whenever they decide, you know what, that Michael Vass, that guy, he's gone too far. Time to get rid of him. Boom. They've got something on you for sure.
And that's only because you had a message from me on Facebook or Twitter that they got access to.
Yes.
Nothing. They didn't even know about me, but because you went for a pistol permit, then all of a sudden I'm now guilty.
Yes, you are.
And all of a sudden they're going to come after me out of the blue.
Yep.
That's a big, obviously I ranted against this.
Well, the other thing it does, which is brilliant, is it also then gets your local people around you, the people who you love and care about, to discourage you from getting a firearm.
Yeah.
So
it's removal by that process.
Yes, it creates the social pressure to not do it. It's why I don't have a firearm in New York City, because the laws are so stringent. Everyone said, dude, if you get a firearm, if you get in a car accident on the way back from the range and you're not back home in 2 hours, they're going to put you in jail. You're going to Rikers Island. Yeah. And I was like, really? Like, yeah. So my friends are like, don't do it. It's not worth it. You make one mistake and you're going to be in Rikers Island for 3 years. But don't do it.
But the problem is, like yourself, I'm also a public figure. We're out in the public talking. Not everyone loves what we have to talk about or the viewpoint we have. Some of them to an extremity. Let's talk about Black Lives Matters or Antifa. These are dangerous people. Proven dangerous. There's a reason why they're on the domestic terrorist list. And we have a serious concern here. And now we have to worry about, oh, wait a minute, but New York State may not like me. Right. So they're going to throw me in jail because of a tweet.
Yes. Or worse, people that I care about. Even if I'm okay with myself. And this is why this is so insidious, is because even if I'm prepared to say, you know what, I'll take the slings and arrows. I'll take it. And I'm prepared for my friend, my mother, my cousin, my sister, my brother, my buddy, do it because of me. I may not be. Yeah. I may back down because of someone I love, not myself.
Yeah, because now they're involved.
That's correct.
Just because they have social media with them.
Correct. Yes.
And considering I know you have more than I do, but we have hundreds, thousands of people who contact us on various social media. I can't even tell you how many people I speak at many Second Amendment, pro Second Amendment events. I go to many anti-Second Amendment events. I don't know how many people speak to me. Sure. I don't know. Who knows how many people are connected by accident? Absolutely. According to the way New York State law is looking at it. Right. So this is devastating.
It's just more secret state police. Every one of the things we just talked about is creating a larger secret state police. More information, more information, more information. That's all it is.
Well, then let's look at this. This leads me to another area, because as I started off and mentioned, The Libertarian Party is now a recognized party
Yes.
in New York State,
Mm-hmm.
capable of being able to stand toe-to-toe with conservatives, the Republicans, the Democrats, the Working Families Party. You're on equal standing with each of them. And so now you get to have an influence in these kind of bills.
Sure.
Assuming that, of course, you get people elected.
Mm-hmm.
What is the Libertarian Party doing about that? How are people reacting, and what's
Mm-hmm.
the plan going forward?
Yes, I'll give you both of those.
Okay.
The first thing is we've submitted our rules as of last December 24th, Christmas Eve. I put together a committee to write the rules for our party.
Mm-hmm.
We submitted them in Albany December 24th. We are now an official party. We'll begin a transition committee, which will begin this month.
Mm-hmm.
And we will have some type of convention in the spring, and that's when we will officially kick off with our new state committee, and we will be rocking and rolling from there.
Okay.
So right now we have some people who are slated to run in 2019, a couple of them, not that many yet. We're still like most people didn't think we were going to get it.
Right.
So we
Right.
hadn't. I mean, literally in 50 years, we didn't get it. So
Right.
most people thought we weren't going to get it. So now that we have it, we're kind of scrambling a little bit, right?
Understandable.
To get the right people in
You're
right
expanding
places.
into a far bigger
We
organization.
are. And we have another problem, which is, we only had actual affiliates in about 1/3 of the counties.
Yeah.
So now we have to build out affiliates also. We have a lot of infrastructure building to do. So as we build the infrastructure, this year is going to be our building year, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
So we're ready for the 2020. But we will have some people running in 2019. We have a public advocate running in New York City. I think 2 are running in the Libertarian Party right now. Gary Popkin and Daniel Crispin are both running as Libertarians in New York City right now.
Alex
Public
Merced,
advocate.
too? Is
He's
he
not running as
running?
public advocate. Nope.
Oh, okay.
He's not running this time. He has run in the past,
Yes.
but he's not running this time.
Okay.
This is a special election.
Okay. Mhm.
And Letitia Jones, who is now the Attorney General,
Yes.
was our public advocate.
Okay.
So that's why it's a special election. And we also have Dwayne Whitmer running in Western New York. He's going to be running against Chris Collins in 2020.
That's an interesting one.
Yes. So I'm going to be doing a fundraiser for him actually tomorrow night.
Well, by the way, everyone you're mentioning, I'm more than happy to do interviews with each and every one of them.
Perfect. Good.
And I've done interviews with Alex in the past, Lily Tang Williams.
Oh, yes.
Out in Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy. A couple, Kim, I forget Kim's name in Nevada. So I'm happy to speak
Kim Ruff?
with her. She was running in Nevada in 2016.
Oh, I don't remember.
I'm forgetting her last name at the moment, but I believe in giving access to everybody,
Sure.
making sure everyone has that opportunity. So please let
we
them know.
have built the rules are out, and we're building the actual transition committee this month. We'll be up and running by sometime in the spring, and we'll be running candidates this year, and a whole lot more in 2020, and a whole lot more in 2021 and 2022.
Okay.
So we are absolutely up and running.
Well, I have to ask because it's my home area here in the Southern Tier. I know there's a couple of races, say for the DA that's coming up. City council races are coming up. Mayor will be coming up shortly. But so in 2019, we're looking at city council. We're looking at the DA.
Yep. We have 2 people running city council right now. It's Rich Pertel is one, and another woman, I've forgotten her name. So we do have 2.
Rich is I know Rich is going to be in Tioga.
Yes, sorry, yes, okay, yes.
Oswego.
Yes.
In Oswego. Owego. So Rich is running for that.
And there's one more here, a woman. I just met her, and I forgot her name. I'm sorry. She came to my event for lunch.
Okay.
And I feel bad. I should memorize her name. I didn't. So, but yes.
There's a lot of names. There's a lot of new names coming out there. So
yes. So we are starting to rock and roll and get more people up. We are.
okay. Let me ask you about the 2020 New York 22nd race. We already, you may not be aware. I know you've been out with your party, but so far I'm aware of approximately 5, let's call it conservatively, 4 candidates who are running against Anthony Brindisi for the New York 22nd race. Do you expect, or do you know of someone on the Libertarian side?
No doubt we're going to have somebody. I don't know who the person is yet. No doubt we'll have somebody.
It's
no
a race
question.
that you're not going to miss.
We're not missing that one. There's no way we will have somebody there. Guaranteed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We have enough of presence in the Southern Tier that someone can fill that.
Okay.
And we have enough of a presence here.
And I know you've had a large presence in this region, so I kind of expected that.
The whole Southern Tier really was really good for me. Steuben County was probably the best for me. I think I got 11%
Yeah.
in Steuben County. I think that was probably the best. The whole Southern Tier was good. North Country was good also.
Yeah.
Western New York was pretty good. I mean, they were good for me. But I think my best, was Steuben County. I think it was 11%.
Yeah. So that's no wonder you guys would be looking at the New York 22. And I kind of figured that, but
yes,
you never know until you ask for sure, right?
Absolutely. But right now, when you say how people are looking at us,
yeah,
the press is still ignoring us in general.
I know.
Right. Still in general ignoring us. That will begin to change. But at the moment, pretty much ignoring us. They don't think that we can make this work. Or they think we're going to become a puppet party like some of the other parties. But so they're kind of ignoring us. Democrats are also ignoring us completely. Republicans are mad at us. Republicans have shown a lot of anger, almost to the point of nuttiness.
Really?
Yes. I have Republicans constantly saying things like, Larry Sharpe, thanks for giving Cuomo the election.
Your votes wouldn't have made a difference.
Not at all. I got 2% of the vote. I did not.
And I'm not downplaying
not at
the
all.
votes you got, but I'm saying
yes,
add yours in.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't change the result at all.
At all. Nothing.
Not even close.
That doesn't at all. No. So that's completely not true. But I think they're trying to come up with an excuse for another failure. Look, if you're a Republican, you've been losing elections, statewide for 16 years.
Yeah.
So 8 election cycles in a row, you've lost every single election. Fool me
Sadly.
once, shame on you. Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. What's fool me 8 times? I'll tell you what fool me 8 times is. Blame Larry Sharpe.
Okay.
That's fool me 8 times. Blame Larry Sharpe.
And I've seen the arguments against you, people complaining about you. My answer was, with no disrespect, I think you're a good candidate. I enjoy speaking with you. There was a massive amount of money to overcome.
100%.
And so I was looking at it as, well, no, Larry's not going to make or break this race.
I didn't. I wish I did.
Yeah.
I do. I wish I'd got 10, 20% and did that. That'd be amazing. And when I told people, at the end of the race, in the beginning of the race, I actually believe when I first started running in 2017, when I started running, I thought I had a chance of victory. I was like, I got a chance at this because the Republicans didn't have anybody yet. They were scrambling. I thought, you know what? I could make this a Sharpe Cuomo race. I got a shot if I could raise enough money. I couldn't raise enough money early on. Yeah. And once Molinaro got in, it became a 2-person race, Cuomo, Molinaro.
In terms of the money.
It did. And media, right?
Well, yeah.
If I could have raised enough money before Molinaro got in the race, I had a chance at making the 2-person race.
Yeah.
But at that point, I couldn't.
Or even a competitive 3-way.
Competitive 3 could have been, yes. Yeah. But I couldn't raise enough money to do that. And then he got in a race, and that was kind of the end of me.
Did that upset you, by the way, that there were 2 other candidates, Howie Hawkins, of course, with the Green Party, which, my opinion and mine alone, I'm offering this, really had no shot. Was not important. He hasn't been a factor in any race for 40 years. So that was not. But Stephanie Minor was a factor to a certain extent in terms of raising money and distraction.
Think so. Well, I mean, no, I don't think so. Let me give you my piece on this.
Sure.
Let me finish my last piece. I realized I couldn't come in first, or realistically couldn't come in first, right? Mm-hmm. But I was going to still for second place because here's the reality: if half the people voted for Molinaro voted for me, I'm in second place.
Right.
If that would have happened, I'm not just talking to you today. I'm also talking to NBC and CBS and Fox. And the person who'd be doing the response to Cuomo would have been me, not Molinaro.
Sure.
Which means all the things I'm talking about, red flag laws, Second Amendment, small business, lowering taxes, MTA unfairness, would be out there now. We'd be having some real change. We'd have real impact because I'd be the voice of that. Right? When Molinaro did his response, he didn't say any of these things. He just said platitudes. He didn't say anything. So
which is why no one's talking about what he said.
That's correct.
Realistically.
Exactly. But now to your point about the other parties. Look, Stephanie Minor just barely became a party.
Yeah.
She wasn't running to win. She was running to establish a party line for 2020. And that's what she did. Mm-hmm. The people who were supporting her are neocons. Right? Those people who were supporting her. Yeah. Right? She's really a Democrat.
Yeah.
But they thought, she's well known in Syracuse. She got 50,000 votes. Here's money. That wasn't affecting me at all. I actually debated her openly in Rochester.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But it didn't mean anything. It was just fine. Howie Hawkins, while I personally like Howie Hawkins, he's a fellow Marine. I think he's an honest man. I believe Howie Hawkins thinks he's doing right. I disagree with him.
I agree that that's what he thinks. Yes.
But he believes he's doing the right thing.
Yes.
So I like Howie. I think he's a good man. But the reality of it is the Green Party in New York State, it only has one job. That is to pull the Democratic Party left.
Which it is
doing. And it does a good job of that. The Conservative Party should be doing that for the Republican Party, and it doesn't. It fails at that. The Green Party does its job. He just wants to hold ballot access so he can always say, mess around, Democrats, and we'll run somebody for real. Stay left and we'll be good. That's what they're doing. So that's where Howie was. That's why he didn't care. Those got 5,000 votes. He was fine. Right. But if you look at it, third parties throughout the entire country got really hammered across the country.
They did.
And in New York State, Howie only got 95,000 votes. He got over 200 last time, didn't he? I think he got like 300 the time before that.
Yeah.
So he's dropped over half. I multiplied mine by a factor of 6.
Yes, you did.
We got 16,000 votes last time.
I know. I remember.
We got 100,000 this time.
94, but yeah.
But in reality, and let me say what I mean by this. I was put on a line with Stephanie Miner. Mm-hmm. Many people didn't know, thought she was my lieutenant governor.
Really?
So they circled hers and mine, and those avoided votes.
I feel sad for Andrew then, because, and I know Andrew. I interviewed Andrew.
That's correct.
That's
but people
upsetting.
didn't get it. So what does that mean? There were over 100,000 voided votes. A bunch of those are mine.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know how many there are.
Okay, so
I'm not going to fight it because I'm not going to win. Who cares? It doesn't change anything, so why fight it?
Right.
But not just that. I was also in a place in the ballot where some machines couldn't read my vote because I was in the wrong line.
Yeah, that's right.
So the machines couldn't read my vote. So I lost those votes.
Okay, so there's even more, potentially more numbers. We just can't be sure.
So I just say 100,000.
Okay, fair.
Because it's rounded anyway.
Well, you know, if I didn't say anything, someone would say, Mike, you're not fact checking. Why aren't you holding him to the same standard as everyone else? So,
I just go 100,000. That's it.
Makes fair.
But I'm not going to fight any of it. If I had lost the election by 20,000 votes, I'd be in court.
Right.
but I lost by 3 million votes, give or take? It's fine. I didn't win. It's fine.
And again, these aren't negatives. I don't want anyone in the Libertarian Party or anyone else listening to this think we're picking on anyone.
No, not at all.
These are numbers, but that's one part of the story of what's going on and one aspect of it. And I want to be fair to say, hey, here's all the things, because most people don't realize there's a lot that goes on in an election.
Yes.
There's so many levels and layers, especially as a candidate there.
This is the part that I think was most eye-opening for me running. And that was, I knew that money was important. I never had a doubt on it, that it was important. I didn't realize how important it was in two areas I did not get, polling and media. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that one of the reasons why I wasn't being covered in the media is I wasn't buying media ads.
Really?
Yes. If you buy media ads.
It's one of those things you think of afterwards, but you know.
Yes. Well, I didn't realize it was pay to play. It's effectively pay to play. I assumed, and this is foolish me, that if I would get enough eyeballs on me, that I'd be interesting enough, that I'd have interesting ideas, and I showed them that I'm real, and I would go out and gather a crowd of 100, 200 people at an event, that press would show up. No, but let me buy some ads, then they show up.
Then they're there. Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much it really was pay to play. Also polling. I didn't realize polling was pay to play. Right? You want to be in a poll? Buy the poll. Right? The last
no one does a poll for free.
That's correct. But the average voter thinks they do.
Oh, no. And they're very specific about who they pick, where they pick them, the question they ask.
The last poll that sank my campaign, which I knew I couldn't win at any chance at that point, was the last poll that was 3 weeks before Election Day. That was the one that said, Molinaro closing the gap.
Oh, right. And they had him somewhere within 10.
That's correct. And what happened was that was a poll paid for by a Republican PAC.
Yeah.
That had Sienna go out, and this is how they asked the question. Would you vote for Larry Sharpe? Would you vote for Andrew Cuomo? Would you vote for Mark Molinaro? And the last person was rotated 5 ways. Either Larry Sharpe or Stephanie Miner or Howie Hawkins or anybody else or nobody else. And they only got one choice. So if you happen to get the phone call that said
depending on how that rotation hit, you're getting 1/20th of the hits.
That's correct.
And again, this goes to, and a lot of people don't realize that there is so much inside. I mean, the little things that go on and what makes a poll or not makes a poll.
Yes. Which means, with that in mind, that means that all of a sudden it looked like Molinaro was closing a gap. And he actually wasn't. Nothing had changed. He was behind by 20 points in everything, and he ended up behind by 20 points.
Yeah.
But what mattered was internally, I was actually polling between 6 and 11%.
which is one of the numbers I had gotten early in the race.
That's correct. And I knew people in the Republican camp who were telling me this. Larry, you're polling between 6 and 11%.
Yeah.
So that's
consensus was 7.
There we go. I was polling in that area. Democrats knew that also because they were doing internal polling on their own. That's where I was polling.
Right.
When they saw that, Democrats said, oh, I don't care. I'm still going to win. They ignored me. Right?
Right.
But then when Republicans saw it, they got scared and they put that poll out. And when that poll came out, 3 things happened. One, there was a story that came out saying Larry Sharpe is a Cuomo plant.
Yeah.
Wow, that was bad. 2, there was a story that said, oh, Larry only cares about ballot access. Well, then why am I still here? And then the next thing happened was that poll. And what happened with the poll was they saw Molinaro closing the gap. Mm-hmm. Now all those Democrats who were thinking, you know what, Larry Sharpe said a bad idea. Molinaro might win. No, I got to go vote Cuomo. Yeah. And then all the Republicans who were like, I like Larry Sharpe, I should vote for him. Went, oh, but Molinaro could win.
Yeah.
So I literally lost hundreds of thousands of votes.
We can't take away that vote. It's that critical vote. And that's when
correct.
you started hearing a lot of people saying, it was right about that 3rd week.
Yes.
That's when you started hearing, well, Larry's going to cut away.
That's correct.
Molinaro support. If you vote Sharpe,
yep.
you can't see Molinaro win.
Every event that I went to, even the one today, at least one person, about 2 or 3 say, yeah, my friend told me the same thing. He was going to vote for you, but.
Yeah.
And it's all because that last poll. That last poll really sank me.
Yeah, and that was a big one. Now, I do want to mention, I know that time is short. We always have great conversations.
Sure,
we wind
yes.
up always going over.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you do have a couple of other events to go on. I think you're going into Rochester?
Yes, heading into Bath, then Rochester, then Buffalo, then Fredonia, then back to Rochester again. So we're doing the Western New York kind of trip this week. That's tomorrow, also Friday and Saturday. And then we'll be in Chester as our last stop, actually. Chester will be our last stop down, going towards, back heading home towards Queens. If you want to find out where I am, head to Larry Sharpe, Libertarian Facebook page, or go to LarrySharpe.com, the Facebook, the website. Happy to, come aboard, see me if you can, have some questions, watch our stuff, like, share. Look, the war is not over. We still have to keep fighting. I know we lost this battle, but we showed them that we can fight, and there are now more people in the fray. Mm-hmm. There's more opposition now to Cuomo than there was before. We're here. That's it.
And Cuomo is definitely drawing the line there as in his attempt to get to 2020, mm-hmm. Along with Kirsten Gillibrand, who
Gillibrand was not going to run. What happened?
She lied.
Yes.
I mean, there's no two ways
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
She lied.
Yes.
And I'm very upset about that. But I am happy that I got an opportunity to have you back in. And of course, I want to speak with you more as we go forward.
Sure.
You're always welcome on
Thank
the program. Here's something to think about, Larry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's amazing? Howie Hawkins, we're talking about the Green Party,
mm-hmm.
Marine.
Yes.
You, Marine.
Absolutely.
Mike Long with the Conservative Party,
mm-hmm.
Marine.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There we go.
You know what we're not seeing?
What?
Republican Party Marine.
Ah, there we go.
If we get all the Marines together in New York parties, put them together, I guarantee you, the policy and the idea we can come up with will blow everyone away.
Semper Fi.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend.
But I thank you for your time, and I hope you're going to have a good trip.
Have a good one.